ya. Separate the weak from the opsa. Leap hard to creep them Brooklyn streets. It's on, nigga. Fuck all that bickering beef. I can hear sweat trickling down your cheek. Your heartbeat sound like Sasquatch feet. Thundering, shaking the concrete. Then the shit stop when I fall the plot. Neighbors call the cops and they heard mad shots. Saw me in the drop, 3 1/4. Slaughter, electrical tape around the daughter. Old school, new school, need to learn though. I burn, baby, burn like disco inferno. Burn slow like blunts with yayo. Kill more skins than Idaho potato. Niggas know the lyrical molesting is taking place. Fucking with B.I.G. it ain't safe.
You know, this argument, well, I don't think it'll ever end. And you can see this in every sport, right? Boxing, to me, is the most interesting one. I love how defenders of the old school, and I'm not gonna lie, I used to be that way. I'm still that way in a lot of things that, you know, I think the music of my time is better than the music of now. But if you talk to the younger generation, the generation after me, after mine, and maybe some of yours, right? They love the music that's out today and they will defend it. And that's fine. LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. Historically, I say Michael Jordan is better. I don't know if he can take LeBron one-on-one, or is a just totally better player than LeBron James. I mean, look what he's been doing. It's a matter of opinion, right? And there's all different type of measuring sticks. So I was listening to a channel that I'm sub to. Most of you guys would know. They're a pretty big channel. It's called BDA Live. And they have a lot of live streams. And there's guys like, Precise was on it. Another gentleman by the name of Bucha, or King Bucha, right? And all 3 guys on this live stream, in my opinion, they really know their boxing and they do a good job explaining themselves and giving out their opinions. So they had this other gentleman who got on, and I believe he knew who Hagler was. He was giving some interesting stories, and I believe BDA, the host of this live stream, asked him, who does he think would have won between Hagler and Golovkin? Prime for prime. And the guy, I like the way he answered it in the beginning. He said he thinks Hagler would have won. I don't mind that. I'm a Hagler fan. I'm also a Golovkin fan. Just like this gentleman explained himself. He said that he was a Hagler fan, and I believe he knew Hagler, and he was also a Golovkin fan. Alluding to maybe a little bias, but I think in his heart he felt Hagler would have beat him. He went on to explain a little further and said, until Golovkin beats an elite middleweight or beats an elite fighter, I believe it was beat an elite middleweight. I think that's what he was saying. I guess he cannot consider him in the same level as Hagler. And this is not just going at this gentleman, it's just this argument that I hear a lot of people make when it comes to comparing the old school versus the new school. First of all, who's the elite middleweight, natural middleweight that Hagler beat or knocked out, right? If you want to use Tommy Hearns, because of Tommy Hearn's size, I can see that, but he started at welterweight, right? In fact, all the elite fighters that he went up against, household name. And I think that's what he was alluding to. And if he's not, most people do. Most boxing fans do this. But Hagler never beat an elite middleweight. Now he's got 3 elite fighters that he can point to and say, I fought these guys, right? And by saying elite, mainly a lot of fans are saying household names, people that we all know. Just like I don't blame Hagler for not beating a elite middleweight or natural middleweight, I can't blame Golovkin as well. Now, I give them both credit for beating the best available competition at their weight class, which makes them stand out, right? Golovkin started to make a name for himself, just like Hagler, because of the way he was beating his competition. We all have an opinion on this. This is the way I look at it. They're both the best fighters of their time, in their prime. They were both the best fighters at their weight class. And being that both guys have a lot of similarities, like their career middleweights. Hagler, who put a period already, right? He spent his whole career as a middleweight. So far, it looks like Golovkin is going to go that route. Can't say for sure, but seems that way. So there is a fair comparison. We'll never know who would have won in the ring. In my opinion, I think Golovkin would have beat Hagler in the ring in a great fight. That's just an opinion. I think his jab would have been the difference. Not only that, Golovkin had a hell of a chin. So did Hagler. It would have been a great fight. That's just my opinion. You can have yours. I think as boxing goes along, and just like in any other sport, the level of skills and training regimens and all that, and it evolves, and the product is better. Boxing has become more of a global sport. Always has been. It's just now there's more participation. There's more attention to everyone across the world, right? Like take the cruiserweight division. Very new, relatively new weight class. I think it's the best it's ever been in terms of the level of competition and the skill set overall, right? That has to do with boxing evolving, of course. These bigger guys with the kind of skill set that I believe that weight class didn't have since its beginning. Right? The global participation in this weight class makes it better, in my opinion. So we'll never know who really would have won. All we have is our opinions, our observations of what they did in the ring. And all we could do is speculate. That's it. What would have went down? To me, it doesn't take anything away from the greatness of Hagler or the greatness so far of Gennady Golovkin. Just like it shouldn't take away from Michael Jordan's greatness, LeBron James' greatness, in any other sport, right? Joe Montana versus Tom Brady. These were all great fighters that probably would have done great in any era.